Hey everyone, welcome to Atmoseeker. Uh, I was going for a cool wizard effect, but I may have overdone it. Wow, this is you've interrupted me. I'm just relaxing here in the dungeon, the cold dungeon. It is Australia here. We got winter happening big time. It's not snow and ice kind of weather and stuff, but we've it's taken a cold turn. That's for sure. Let me just double check my audio is coming through. Looks like it's coming through hot, which is great. Uh, yeah, so this is just a like little casual little get together, just a talk, just kind of show off some of the live stream setup that I had going for a recent game that was on this weekend. It turns out it was on like Americans' Father's Day, so that's probably why not many, a lot of folks were busy that day. So, but if you did miss it, there is there's a VOD you can watch on the channel. Should be the latest one, the charity live stream with the Easy D6 with my co-host from OKest DM. We had a fun few folks on there. We ran through a sequel adventure to one we ran a few months ago. So I see we got some folks in the chat. Thanks so much for joining us on this late night here while I'm kind of catching up. I thought maybe before I clean stuff up around here, you guys might want to see how it's all kind of set together. Is this kind of like the perfect setup for anything? Who knows? I don't think so. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, but I think I'm kind of curious to kind of just show what I'm working on here for these live games. The biggest problem is like if I just kind of show you kind of what we've got here. The biggest problem that we've got is it's not a permanent setup, and I have to kind of break it down for every time that I've been kind of running these things. So I think if I was going to make it more of an all-time thing, it would be great to have it all kind of permanently set up for an online Dungeons and Dragons kind of setup. Yes, welcome, Talismancer. Good to have you here. Sorry it's late night, but we're just going to have a little look behind the scenes at some of the things that I've got set up here in the garage dungeon. I'm thinking of calling it the Gungeon. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, so feel free to kind of shout out any kind of like little questions or anything that you might kind of have for the setup here. You see, it's kind of it's no simple feat what I've got here. I've got a few kind of stream decks, computers, a whole mess of cables and stuff hastily put together just to kind of make things work. But it works. And yeah, I'm just going to like run you through all the stuff we have here. You can see I've got kind of some terrain set up as well. And we've got a couple of cameras sliding around, which is cool. And we've got some lights and stuff that are all kind of controllable with that kind of thing. But yeah, we've got a few things. So yeah, I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like from a couple of different viewpoints. This is kind of be what like the players see and what I'm using to kind of control it as well. So let's just kind of turn that off. Just so this is kind of, we have a few kind of the cameras set up. I managed to get just a couple. The guys at Instalink were kind enough to send me out another camera. That if you haven't seen it already, there is a video on the channel that looks at how to kind of set one up as this kind of controllable battle cam, which has been really fun to use for like these live kind of like setups, especially because you can kind of control the gimbal. Here I'm just using a little keypad here that you can move around and zoom in and zoom out and get a whole bead on all the action. You sound more Kiwi than Aussie, dude. Nice setup. Way colder in here in New Zealand, I bet. Yeah, look, my accent is a little muddy, just because I have, maybe I watched too much TV as a kid. I do have Polish parents, so maybe there's some little accent coming through there or something. I've been told Canadian here, but I think I just don't fit in anywhere. So I don't fit in Australia and I don't fit in America. So it's just this weird amalgamation. But yes, the camera has been quite cool just to be able to kind of get these different kind of camera shots. So I've got, you know what? I'm going to switch to this other one. So I've got one. Maybe I can show you guys. So I've got one mounted up here. Might be a little hard to tell here in the shadows, but I have it kind of on this microphone boom arm that kind of comes out. You can't see that in the latest video that kind of had a look at how it was together, and we've got it upside down under there. So you can see as I'm kind of pushing buttons on this keypad to kind of move it around, he's kind of moving around too. He's looking around. And flying from the north. Thanks, buddy. And yeah, so we've got another one here set up on the slider. So if I switch to that one, this one's creating these nice little cinematic shots, which is really cool. And the image quality's been very kind of sharp and decent. And this one is not zoomed in at all, so we can zoom in way in there. Or I'm pushing it to maximum. You see it start to kind of lose a little bit towards the end there, but you can get some really cool like close-ups and details here. Something else that I've got kind of set up here, just in this far corner over here. Hang on, let me just switch to this one. So over here, I've got a little bit of a fog output there, which I can remotely activate as well. So you can see on this guy, I've got a little multi-action here. It's a little bit out of focus there, but there is a multi-action on that button that turns on a smart plug on there somewhere for one of the reptile foggers that I've got. So I can easily just turn it off and on. You can hear a little click happen, and it starts puffing out. So if it starts to get a little bit too dank or something, I can turn it off or on, or if I want to get some more effects going for that, I can turn it off and on, which is good. Being able to control that. Oh, I see David. Welcome, buddy. Yeah, we're just having a look. Look at a couple of things. I'm just hastily kind of holding this camera now. I'll have to catch this one later tonight, but want to drop in and say hi. Yes, I'll. If you have any questions, make sure. I'll hopefully this will be helpful at all. But yeah, you're in the Discord, so be sure to like ask some questions in there if you have any questions about how to set it up, any kind of like camera settings and stuff. I might just touch on those as well. Yeah, we're just gonna have a little browse here, have a little look at how it's all kind of come together. So we got a smart plug controlling the little fog output. And I did mention a little bit earlier that this setup does use a couple of computers. So I'm using this computer up here as this is just a laptop here, and that's just running OBS. We're just seeing ourselves right now. But yeah, that's going to have all the OBS layout and that kind of thing, all the different camera sources coming in. But connected down here, just on the back of this Stream Deck, I have a little PC, and that is hooked up to that monitor over there. And so on that kind of Stream Deck, I have each of these buttons firing off a few different multi-functions. Oh, it's a little bit out of focus there. Hang on. Let me just switch to this while I finagle with some of the camera settings on that one. But yeah, basically it's firing off a whole bunch of multi-actions that change the video, change the lighting, they could turn off and on the fog as well. I'm just trying to get the autofocus going on this camera. Sorry, just let me autofocus off, autofocus on. There we go. That'll do it. All right. Yeah, so yeah, now we can see that a little bit better. Oh, not quite. But yeah, each of these buttons has I have several different locations. It's a little overexposed there, but we've got dungeon, village, wilds, water. Hang on, let me see if I can more camera settings. Seb. You know, you could tell this was a casual one, kind of put together. look, I'm not sure who's interested in this kind of stuff. If you're someone who runs your own live stream games and you're curious of how I run it usually, and this is kind of just a brief look at just how it's all kind of set together at the moment. Let's see. Is that gonna order exposures for me? No, it's not. Come on, mate. Work for me. Well, I might share some images of how these are all set up later. But basically, I have a whole bunch of locations on the side, and each of these has some sub-locations. And each one of these has it'll either call on a lighting scene for these DMX controlled lights, or it'll call on some of the video backgrounds and also like audio effects and stuff. So let's switch to the other camera, and you'll see when I push one of these buttons. Let's see, maybe get my little cameras here. All right, so when I push one of these buttons, you'll see it'll change to a different setting. Which one? Which button? Let's set it to the dream realm. It changes the lighting. Adds a little spooky sound effects. Ooh. Battle and Barrow Gaming, welcome, buddy. We are just having a look here behind the scenes of the latest live play game. So if you have any questions at how everything's kind of like set up or anything, then by all means, let me know in the chat. Touch Portal rather than the Stream Deck. Yeah, I quite like the tactile buttons, so that's probably why my Stream Deck is the go-to for a lot of the stuff I use. But I can understand Touch Portal is a cheaper alternative for sure. And you can see I'll show you how the lighting works as well in a minute as well. I don't have a screen capture for that, so I might have to kind of finagle with it a little bit. But we got all different types of locations as well. I think this is working better now. You guys can kind of see that a bit better. Oh, here we go. Haunted Forest. So this one's kind of a frosty forest. Quite like the campfire one too. See, now this brings me something that happened. I don't know why it happens. So it is not a perfect setup, but every now and then the UDMX adapter will cock up, basically. So I have made a little button here on this one, so that basically it restarts the software on this computer, activates the lighting stuff again. It basically just does a reset of the lighting thing. So, which is handy because I've been trying to design this thing to work without a screen or keyboard or anything. So basically, I want to have this kind of an independent unit that I could just have behind the dungeon screen. It's got all contained with the computer there and the deck there, and I can just use any kind of like, if anything goes wrong, I can just do that reset. You'll see the lights go off, and then now if I fire off that campfire scene again, it should work for me. I don't know what's going on here. Well, that's unless I okay, that it looked like that button didn't have a proper lighting scene targeted towards. So good thing I didn't test it there. It was also, oh, thank you. Broadlink IR remotes for IFTT, which I use to control. None my non-Wi-Fi based ocean projector light. Yeah, that ocean projector light is pretty darn good. All right, I might just turn off this fog. Turn off fog, you say? Never. Never turn it off. But yeah, so we got some of these lighting changes happening. The video backgrounds are changing, and we can change between these camera setups. And you can see that with the more we can change with the lighting and stuff, you can really get a lot of flexibility with the terrain as well. Like, I haven't moved the terrain at all, but just by changing the lighting, changing the effects, the video background, it completely changes the whole feel of the whole place. One more background, and then I'll show a little bit how the multi-action is set up, if you guys are curious. We had some snow. I had a whole bunch set. See, this is the problem. I had, because I was preparing for this adventure, and I had no idea where it was going to go, but it has been kind of a build-up of trying to get this control panel set up in a way that it could be kind of ready for anything. So yeah, so whilst like normally the pre-setup for the game would have been like, oh, it's just going to be a couple of different locations, and you're probably not going to change up anything too much dramatically. I was setting up the whole thing because I wanted to be ready for different types of locations that could happen, like a blizzard. Although that snow's coming down pretty genteel there for a blizzard. If you're wondering about the video backgrounds, those are all custom made as well. I use the Midjourney app, the Discord bot, to make the AI generated backgrounds. And then over the top, there's a guy called Kinemancer. He makes these kind of video overlays of all these types of different like weather effects and stuff. So it's just basically the still image, and then I pop the overlay on top of it, and that adds like effects. So like, if for instance, if I change to this lava one, let's see if we go to the magma chamber, you can see all those like embers coming off. See, that's something I don't quite like. I wish there was a way to control the focus of this camera so that it would stay where I wanted it to stay focused. I mean, the autofocus is quite good, but I guess it's not being. They didn't make it with this in mind, you know, for like miniatures and stuff. Manual focus. I'm going manual. Going manual. Hold on to your butts. There we go. Yeah. So you can see all those like embers coming up as well, and a little smoke and stuff. So yeah, those are just the AI generated backgrounds, and you can make them for whatever location you want, and then an overlay over the top. I mean, there's lots of like video backgrounds you can find online as well on YouTube, but I found this the fastest way, a more accurate way of like, I have this specific location in mind, kind of like what did I have? I had the small village that it is a tropical frosty island and that's very hard to find like animated video backgrounds of that kind of stuff online. So being able to kind of make those custom video backgrounds has been really good. Yeah, I've been really enjoying to use that. Now you can hear a whole bunch of audio coming through as well. For that, I'm using the Stream Deck Plus here behind the screen. There are a whole bunch of Stream Decks you can get these days. Like, I know you can do a lot of audio control with different ones, but this one is the Plus I've been using pretty recently. And this one is out of focus. I've been using the knobs here mostly for controlling different audio sources. So each of these buttons has a multi-action that may call on different audio or something. So for instance, this stone door, right? That audio file that's kind of attached to that one, that is saying go in the wavelink software that's connected to this guy. It is putting it into this very special effects audio channel, and that's way I can control the volume of that easily. So see, if I turn all that way down and push it, you don't hear anything. Lightning strike. So I have found that I have been constantly changing and adjusting the audio on the fly, especially with live ones, where you kind of want to be able to control that. That has been quite handy. Even in my normal games, I've been noticing that, like, all right, I want the music to kind of come out more in this moment, and you can kind of adjust that on the fly, which has been quite handy. That said, you can do audio controls on like a regular Stream Deck as well. I think you can have like a button up, button down, and stuff, and you can see like the actual slider in there, which is still usable. I do just like the tactile motion of the knobs. Pretty, yeah, they're pretty. Okay, don't judge me. What size is the screen over here? This is a 32-inch monitor. So 32, I think it's 32. I got it for a steal from Kmart. It was on their online sale here in Australia. I think if I got it for like 150. And the reason I went with a monitor and not a TV is very hard to find a cheap TV that does 1080p as well. Most of the time, especially with a lot of the cheap TVs, they seem to kind of cheap out, and they use a lot of the they'll have a lower native resolution, and they'll rely a lot on the upscaling to fit those larger sizes, which is gross, and it looks gross. So this is a 1080p one. So yeah, like not a TV, but a monitor. So it's very simple. There is just a HDMI input on the back of it. But it gets the job done. I wanted to get more of them. It would have been cool to have like a whole corner here, especially so I don't have to, have just the one camera angle. Would have been cool. Like there is a dream of mine to have like a lower kind of almost like 6 to 8 inch tall one, like a curved one, like a long one, and that would be like ultimate DM screen shape. So somebody who's good with electronics wants to kickstart that kind of thing, oh boy, I'd be all on top of that. I do not have the electronic chops to do something like that, but just like a super wide screen that was like curved or something, that would be like the perfect like DM screen backdrop. That'd be cool, because then you can have that live at your games. You could see over it, but it would still have that backdrop. And so, and the reason I like using a monitor in this situation rather than a projection is that you get a lot of that lighting coming through too. So if I switch back to this one, you're getting a lot of that backlighting coming through. And also, like, if you've got stuff like, see, I've got these reflective surfaces, like there's terrain surfaces, they're going to pick up some of that lighting from this camera angle as well, which is quite nice. Yeah, I might just show a little bit of some of the multi-actions that I have set up on this guy, if I can. I'll have to try and set up this camera. Heck, maybe I might be able to use the Instalink here. If I can freeze it. Stop. Stop, you bastard. There we go. Let's see if I can get it up, because it's going to be on this screen. This is the only screen I have connected. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Manual focus. Check. Okay. Let's have a look if I can pull up the Stream Deck actions that I had. Where is it? Where is it, mate? Where'd it go? Stream Deck. Should be here somewhere. Haha. That might be a little hard to see. Can zoom in more? Zoom in more. Oh, that's not too bad. We just got this old man in the way. Alright. So, if I just switch it over to the XL. Yeah, we can see we've got a few of these buttons laid out for different locations. I've got just your generic locations. These are for my kind of fantasy settings. Each one, so we have our generic locations on the side here. And we've got some just kind of generic, this is kind of like my sound effect or kind of session specific area that I like to keep handy for a few different sound effects like monster growls, or I think I've got a few of these ones up the top that I use mostly for just wound damage or just spells. These ones are mostly using multi-action spells, so this is just using a random action. And you can see on this I've got a play audio action, and it basically just randomly picks from any of these once when I push the button. So I've got, I think, how many spells did I have there? I've got five spells. Alright. So then when I hit that button, every time I push it, it randomly picks the same one every time for some reason. There we go. Maybe I had to let it play out. And you can combo them with like the weapon attacks, so I've been even kind of comboing them with some different sound effects. Like for instance, here on, if I go to the snow tab, you'll see that it changes some of, I'm gonna just move this tree. Sorry, tree boy, you're out of here. There we go. And you, old man. Yeah, you can see I've got an ice sound effect, which is just a few random ice crunches, ice crunching sound effects. So if I combo it, like if I hit spell and then ice, it kind of puts a icy icy flavor on that spell. Yeah. So yeah, those are kind of the ways I use those sound effect buttons. Another way I use sound effects is I've got a sometimes just looping sound effects. So this one, there is no multi-action on this one. This one is just, it's just playing a single sound effect here, you can see it's targeting that sound effect audio tab as well. So yeah, if I pull up the Wavelink app, or is it Wave? There we go. Pull up Wavelink. You'll see what I mean. Yeah, so I've got 4 audio channels on this guy. And the problem about the Wavelink software is that it's a Elgato software, which is great, but the problem is you have to have basically a Wave mic or a Stream Deck Plus to be able to use the software. But basically, you can see I've got these 4 different audio channels, and whenever I kind of add a sound effect into the Stream Deck, I can say what channel is going to reference, basically. So whenever it's pushed, it's going to push that sound out through there, and then I can audio control it with those different knobs and stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of that central area I mostly use for sound effects. And then on the right here, I just got music. Different musics that basically it's just Spotify playlists. Yeah, you can see they're all set up like in a multi-action. So if I open the multi-action, it's using two parts of the multi-action in this one. It's using it's going to basically open the playlist. And I think you can reference what playlist it is. And then below it, I have it set to repeat mode, so you can set what kind of mode it's going to play that playlist at. So, because often I found that whatever the last settings was, someone who's using Spotify, or you never know what kind of thing it's going to be set to. You can set it in a multi-action to kind of keep things consistent, which has been good. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to work out what the best organization for the Stream Deck is to kind of get all these buttons talking together. But the heart of the multi-actions really are a lot of the lighting changes they can do as well. So if I go on one of these locations, you'll see it's kind of broken down into quite a few. We've got, basically, it's going to stop any ambient sound that's been playing at the moment. Then it's going to start playing a new ambient sound. I use a lot of ambient sound files from Michael Gelfi. He's got a lot of different audio tracks. And then I've got a couple of notes here, which this is new. This is if you've seen the DMX controller video. Basically, this is replacing the need for like shortcut keys, hotkeys to fire off lighting scenes. These ones are going into a MIDI program that I have on the computer, which I think it's called Loop MIDI. And you set up a new kind of MIDI port, and it's going to basically just, whenever you push that button, it fires off a note of some kind. So here I've got it's firing off the 0 key, and that connects to this other software, which is the software I use for controlling my DMX lights. And each one of these buttons is targeted to one of those notes. So if I switch back to this and just open one of these buttons, let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. Yeah, you can see I've got it's listening for that channel, and it's going to activate this kind of function, this lighting scene that I have. So that's been a better way of setting those different lighting scenes I've found than using the shortcut keys. Yeah. That was a very, very, very in-depth kind of look at the lighting scenes, I guess. Let me know if I'm overcomplicating things. But you can see there's a lot you can do with multi-actions, whether it's touch portal or other types of things. I've been enjoying kind of putting it together. And I found that like once you kind of have like a library of this stuff, you can kind of build on it. It's only because I've been really kind of changing a lot of the types of ways that I've been doing that kind of thing. I've been starting a little bit from scratch here and there, which is a bit frustrating, but you get there as it's kind of getting closer to something that I can just have as a set box of like actions and stuff and lighting controls that I can control. If you're wondering about the camera here that I've got that's doing the kind of like sliding motion. Ooh, what have we got here? Yeah, so this is just a newer slider. I think this is one of their cheap ones. It's motorized. It's got a little battery pack on the back here. And I wanted to mount this camera super low because we've got everything down there. So we've got this extra kind of like mount that goes over the side of it. And the camera's mounted on the side. But it's a good thing it's got a gimbal on it so you can point it up towards where the action is. So that has been kind of handy to kind of keep things at that camera angle, which has been cool. These trees are new as well. These, I think I got these like palm trees off Amazon as well. I made little simple bases for them that were just like foam and stuff. Pretty simple to make. I didn't even bother making a video because yeah, I think they're super easy to put together. Like if I grab one and bring them here, little bit of float. You see, I put a little bit of weight in the bottom there. You see, it's made of styrofoam and stuff. Rush job to get those together, but yeah, the way they kind of made like this kind of like scatter has been good. So you can use it for all different types of locations. Yeah, the MIDI setup I found quite good, especially there's a few different modes you can have it to broadcast the notes. So you can have it, I've been playing around with different kinds of buttons like not just kind of activating functions and scenes, but like having a button that you could push down and just hold it down and that would keep sending that note. So you could potentially have like lights or fixtures that were like, for instance, if it was a DMX fog machine, you could have one that you're like, all right, I'm going to push this down and that's going to keep fogging until I release it. Or you could have it for like, I don't know, if you're like doing like a lightning flash. Oh, I should have showed off the thunderstorm. Thunderstorm's quite cool. Yeah, switch to a thunderstorm here. Let's get some fog in there. Now I've broken up the thunderstorm into a few different sound effects this time around. So normally I would have had just like a clip that just had like the rain, the thunder, and everything. But I've decided to kind of now separate them a bit more. John says the sound goes away now and again. The sound. You mean like the my voice sound? Me talking sound? Or do you mean like the sound effects? players playing now. Oh. But, yeah, I was aiming to kind of break it up into different parts instead of having specific sounds. So we've got thunder, which is just basically thunder on its own. So it can play over the top of the different ambiences. So right now we've got like some of this forest ambience playing, and now just some thunder over the top of that. You can add some rain to it. Add some wind. You can add an earthquake. Ah, this is my voice. You can turn off all of those individually, which is good. Yeah, so I was thinking of using this kind of part of the panel just for kind of weather effects. Oh, now it's all all disappeared. Uh-oh. I think my Stream Deck has crashed. Definitely has. Well, sometimes that happens. And what is the best thing to do if something like that happens? It's usually cut to another camera and work out what the hell's going wrong. What is your preferred system for running all of this? For running a game? You mean like rule system? Or do you mean like the system for like broadcasting the game? Actually, I will show some of the broadcasting call stuff that I do, because a lot of this stuff, like a lot of the layout stuff that you see here, this is what the players see as well. So they see what you guys see, because I'm using Video Ninja as well, and I'm sending this video feed to them, so they see all of this. They get all the sound effects, they get all the kind of layout and everything, and I can control all the camera for them and stuff. So rules, well, you can use anything. Like we were playing Easy D6 in that game. Well, I primarily use this for like Dungeons and Dragons, or any other kind of like role play tabletop gaming situation. Like it is a small kind of area that I'm using for just kind of cinematic appeal, or just some small kind of skirmishes. But oh yeah, it's really crashed on me. I'm gonna try and get it back. But yeah, you could use it for any kind of setting. But I did want to have some battle reports in here. I've got some mates that were kind of keen to come and play in the dungeon. Let's see if I can get this back for me, like wavelength. Yeah, why is it crashed on me? Let's see if I can get it back. Yes, so I was going to have more of a normal wargaming setup, and I was going to try and see if I could use the same cameras to make more of we have like cinematic angles and being able to kind of capture shots of people in the studio as well, because I think with the gimbal cam you can have one kind of set up for kind of face cams if people were like sitting in preset positions, and you could use that to cut to different people's faces as well, while still kind of playing the game. Oh, it's there. It's working. It's working now. I don't know. I don't know what happened. There we go. Welcome, RDMV. What size is the background TV? It is 32-inch. 32-inch TV. So not huge. 32, 35? 30s. low to mid 30s, I would say, somewhere around there. Um, yeah, and typically with a lot of the lights and stuff that I have set here, I have it set to kind of a medium low brightness, because monitors can get quite bright, and you kind of have to match the lighting levels that you've got with a lot of these. How would I vary the setup for around the table with players right with you? Well, that's something I want to actually explore in a video. But I think off the cuff, I think I would have one that was kind of more set up more on a tripod, maybe with a little bit of distance, and being able to kind of have preset positions that it could kind of pivot towards. So you have one more kind of as like a regular angle, kind of like this, and the other one I'd have as the top-down ones that I've been using for a lot of this battle view and stuff, which could be good, I reckon. I think a lot of it would be going into kind of trying to hide the transitions of how it snaps from one to the other, unless people aren't too bothered by that. But I think there are some things you could do to hide it. But yeah, I think that's kind of how I would use two of the cameras to try and get some good shot variation. And I know there's some OBS plugins that you can get that listen for particular things, and you can have it change from source to source. So I'm curious to experiment with some of that stuff to see if we can get a little bit of automation, because anything that it can take off my hands and let me focus on playing or running the games in here, which has been pretty good. Even when we were playing on the weekend, most of it was just like, oh, this is this sound effect, this is this music track or anything. So it's been pretty good to have all those multi-actions kind of pre-programmed, ready to go. But yeah, that's something I want to experiment with. I want to get some guys in the studio and do some like playing around with this stuff. I just got to work out the time to do it and kind of get things set up to do that. I think that'll be interesting to explore how to kind of capture that kind of vision of things. So plus, like, I haven't run a game of D&D for a while, so I mean, I'm curious. I've been enjoying playing here and there, which has been good. And there's been a lot of distractions been coming out lately, like new edition of 40K and stuff, and lots of gray models that I haven't painted yet. So that's super exciting, I guess. Yeah. So I want to be able to use some of this stuff to have some more kind of like battle reports and that kind of thing. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And trying to get some faces in the studio would be pretty cool, I think. Yeah, there's some folks that would be interested, I think. The main problem that I have with this studio is that there is basically no soundproofing. So whilst it's quite good right now, during the day you can hear old man Joe next door just constantly mowing his lawn, and if it ever rains in here, you'll definitely hear it on the microphone. How do you deal with players changing their location multiple times in a session? For me, it was always a pain, so I only show them background art. Backgrounds. So changing positions. You know what? I'm going to show you some of the video call software that I used. So I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. Like if someone dials in on like Discord and then it reshuffles the images. Yeah, I'm going to show you what I use, because a lot of the stuff, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically my players all see all of this. That's right, wombats, possums, all of those got the possums are vicious around here. But yes, all right, so let's have a look if I can show you how this works. That's the real question. I've got my control room. All right, I think this will work. I've got basically, if I am going to switch to this, there we go. There we go. Got it working. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, yeah, don't do that, Seb. All right. So basically, the software that I use for broadcasting a lot of the games that I have here is it's called Video.Ninja. And basically, you're gonna have people dial in, and you can have those sources, and you can plug them straight into OBS. So right now, it is pretty empty because I don't have any guests in there. But if I did have guests, they would all hang on a sec. They would all start to populate down here. And the only one I have at the moment, this is the audio from the other computer, the little guy that I have attached to the Stream Deck. I've got him dialed in as a caller, and I've just got the audio coming from that guy into the OBS of this guy, this computer. So that's been quite good for like controlling like audio ducking and that kind of thing. So when people talk, it kind of lowers the volume and rises it when they need. And but basically, when I want to get a guest on the show, I'll create a little custom link here. And what you can do with the link is you can basically customize it to have a few different kinds of settings. So, for instance, this one basically says the guests see a high quality video, they don't see themselves, and they only see my video. And the reason for that is basically I'm going to bounce the feed back to them. So when they join, I'll see their videos pop up in here. And for each of these sources, you get a little kind of link that you can copy, and then you can paste that into OBS on a browser source. And that's where you can have them kind of all populated around here, so that when they connect and stuff, they will see themselves in these spots. So you can make your own custom layouts of whatever you want with those audio sources, video sources. And for them to see and bounce back what the video feed is, basically I have to just turn on the virtual camera in OBS and select that as my video source in, I guess, here we go. If you enable director's microphone or video here, there we go. So that's going to be me. So because I've enabled that one. And I turn on my virtual camera in OBS. You can basically have it. Let's change the settings here. I'm going to just change this to be my broadcast. Not that one. No. I'm going to change that to OBS virtual camera. All right. Close settings. Is that it? So they should be seeing what my feed is. So yeah, see, we can see it's kind of come out there. So that is what they're going to see. And you can see I'm moving in two little squares. Boop. And it's the lag is not too bad. Like I haven't had, like I'm bouncing folks from all the way across in America to Australia and then back again. And yeah, we're able to have like full conversations and everything. I'm able to broadcast sounds and audio, everything, and this video feed. You can control the quality of the feed as well. So you can, let's see. So if I just click on that little cog again, you can see there's like videos. Oh, wait, what was it? It was this one. Yeah. So if you click this one, you can see the kind of video quality that they're going to get, so that I can say how much bandwidth it's going to use. I like to keep mine around 2000. That seems to be the high quality range that doesn't get too kind of bad for them. But yeah, then basically, if they're a remote player, I send them that custom link. They see that, and I can have all kinds of fancy videos and camera feeds and overlays. I can do all like the waiting screen and everything, and that's what they'll see. Hopefully that wasn't too complicated. But if that does sound something like you'd be interested in, let me know down in the comments below, because I could do a more kind of comprehensive way of how it's kind of put together. If this channel can help with creating those kind of live stream kind of helps for a lot of those kind of things, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I can't see any much more questions in the chat, but oh, there is one more thing I would show actually. If I'm gonna, oh, that's kind of boring. It's just a light. It's just a light. Curious. Hang on. Curious if you're looked into controlling servos or monitors with DMX. Video where you piped fog, maybe think you could control it with blast gates. That's interesting. Yeah, I think there are some like smart switches and stuff that you can get. I'm not that fancy with like servos and stuff, but like turning off and on smart devices is pretty good. There are some very talented folk in the Atmoseeker Discord that do that kind of stuff. So super exciting to see people tinker around with that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, there's Atmoseeker Discord that is accessible to my super wonderful patrons that have been supporting the channel. Yeah. All right. So we've had a look at the lighting. There was an extra light here, but it's kind of boring. It's just it's just a pin spot, I think. Let's see. I can show you what it is. But basically, it's a little bit of a feed over from the Dungeon Atmosphere guide, but I've been using it as a little pin spot here for retargeting at the board. So this has actually been pretty good because you can see at the top here, you can swap out the little gels, which isn't too bad. But I found that mostly good if I go to the campfire scene. Is it changing for me? Yeah, see that DMX? It's been changing for him. All right, but yeah, there we get something super eerie. Forest night, forest night, forest night. There we go. That's better. But yeah, if I wanted to have these a little bit more of a fire effect here, let me turn that off actually. I can change out the gel for something else. Got a couple here, got a red and a yellow one. And we've got if I turn on that fog effect too. Switch that on the camera. Yeah. Now we're cooking. That's kind of like, I guess if I had some, do I have any of those? Not on hand. But if you had some of those like clear resin, like flame effects or something, get like a cool little fire effect going, which would be pretty rad. See, that one's not too bad in the background. It's camping in here. Yeah, probably if I had a little clear resin thing that would pick up some of that lighting pretty well. I don't really have anything on hand though. It's all packed away. All right. Well, that was just a very brief look behind the scenes of some of the stuff that we have here. If you missed the broadcast and still have any kind of like questions for other kind of things, then yeah, feel free to like drop those in the comments. Happy to answer any questions I can. And the Discord community is one of those places where I'm pretty active. So if you're curious on joining that community to get other kind of ideas, or like, hey Seb, how the hell does this thing work? That'll be cool to know. That's fantastic. So huge thanks to all my patron supporters, and look, we're gonna have some more live plays hopefully in the future. And hopefully I'll have a little bit more kind of worked out with some of this stuff. So it'll be interesting to where it goes. So thanks to everyone who's joined the live stream. And until next time, let's create and inspire. Catch you then. Whoa. Oh, boy. Here we go. Oh, fogging. Oh. Ha ha. Oh. It's still going. Oh, jeez. See you later. I'm out of here.